Welcome to another new episode of the Get Organised with Declutter Me podcast with myself, Shelina. I hope you're well wherever you are in the world. Whether you're tuning in for the first time or you've been a loyal listener for a while, I'm so pleased to have you here today. Your support truly means everything to me. Sharing my passion for decluttering and organising with you each week is such a joy, and I feel so lucky to do what I love. If you're enjoying the podcast, I'd be incredibly grateful if you could help spread the word, whether it's by following, subscribing, leaving a review, or sharing this episode with your friends. Your feedback makes all the difference and helps me keep bringing you helpful content. Today and this month, we are discussing topics as important as decluttering your wardrobe or tidying up your workspace: organising your finances. This is the first episode in what I hope will be a mini series on financial organisation and budgeting. Money can be a source of stress for so many of us, but when you get on top of it, it can really transform your mindset and even your relationship with your finances. Let's start this month off with a plan to make managing money a bit easier and more effective. We spend so much of our time thinking about decluttering physical spaces, but financial clutter can weigh you down just as much. Whether it's stacks of unopened bank statements, credit card bills you've been avoiding, or the uncertainty of not knowing where your money goes each month, disorganized finances can lead to unnecessary stress. The good news? Just like with physical clutter, it's possible to sort it out. It's all about breaking it down into manageable steps. Step 1, take stock of your finances. So when starting any organization project, whether it's decluttering your room or sorting through paperwork, the first and most crucial step is to take stock of what you have. Organizing your finances is no different, and this foundational step can be the tone that is set for how successful and stress-free the process will be. So start by dedicating an hour or two of uninterrupted time to gather and review all your financial information. Think of it as a deep dive into your financial drawers to uncover what's working, what's not, and what might need a bit of a tidy up. To truly understand your financial picture, you'll need to bring together all the relevant documents and information. Here's a checklist to guide you. Bank statements. Collect them from all your bank accounts from at least the past 3 months. This will give you an insight into your spending habits, your income patterns, and any fees you might not have noticed before. Next is your credit card bills. So these are essential for tracking your monthly expenses, understanding interest rates, and identifying areas where you might be overspending. Next is the loan details. So include your mortgage information, your car loans, your student loans, or any other debts. Note down the amounts that are owed, the interest rates, and the payment due dates. For subscriptions and memberships, compile a list of the recurring charges such as streaming services, gym memberships, or app subscriptions. These small amounts can add up significantly over time. Payslips or income records are incredibly critical to creating a realistic budget. You need to understand how much income is coming in. So gather your recent payslips, or if you're self-employed, records of incoming payments. So this process might feel overwhelming, especially if you've been avoiding looking at your financial situation. But just as you can't declutter a wardrobe without pulling everything out to see what you have, you can't organize your finances without a full picture. Taking stock helps you to identify leaks, so spot subscriptions or services you no longer use but are still paying for. Clarify your position, to understand exactly how much money you have, you owe, and you spend. And define patterns, so notice trends in your spending habits like how often you dine out or shop online. Prioritize actions, so highlight the areas that need immediate action, such as overdue bills or high interest debts. If the idea of gathering everything in one go feels really daunting, break it down into smaller chunks. Think of it as a mini gather instead of a mini declutter. You could tackle one category at a time. For example, start with your bank statements, then move on to your loans the next day. Alternatively, enlist a trusted friend or partner to go through it with you for support and accountability. Here's my tips for staying organized. Create a financial folder. So use a physical folder or a digital one on your computer to store all your financial documents that you're collating. Label it clearly so you can easily update it in the future. Go digital. So if your statements and bills are scattered in emails, apps, physical ones. Download them, take a picture, save them in a centralized location. This reduces the risk of overlooking important details. Finally, track as you go. So sort through your documents, jot down key information like outstanding balances or recurring expenses, and in a notebook or in a spreadsheet. Once you've gathered everything, take a moment to breathe. Having all your financial information in one place is a massive accomplishment in itself. From here, you can start analysing your situation, spotting areas for improvement, and making informed decisions about your next steps. Remember, this is about creating clarity and control over your finances, not judging yourself for past mistakes. It's the first step towards a more organised, stress-free approach to money management. Now let's get on to creating a simple budget. So start simple with the 50-30 budgeting rule. And we're going to be talking about it this month again, like several times. So watch out for it. So when it comes to managing money, the key is to keep it simple and sustainable. Budgeting doesn't have to mean endlessly fiddling with spreadsheets or sacrificing every little luxury. In fact, a straightforward and flexible approach often works best, especially if you're just starting out. One of my favorite methods is the 50-30 rule. It's a great guideline for allocating your income and ensuring you cover the essentials while still having room for enjoyment and saving for the future. So let's break it down. 50% is for the necessities. This is the portion of your income that should go towards essential living expenses, things that you absolutely need to function day to day, including rent or mortgage payments, utility bills, groceries and household supplies, transportation costs, including your fuel, public transport, car insurance, and basic healthcare. These are the non-negotiables, so it's crucial to make sure this category is fully covered. If you find that your necessities are eating up more than 50% of your income, it may be worth reviewing areas where you could cut back, like opting for a smaller rental or shopping smarter for groceries. Next is the 30%, which is for the wants. This is the fun category. It's the 30% that's allocated to non-essential spending, the things that bring you happiness and enrich your life. Think of like the dining out and takeaway, entertainment to cinema, streaming services, or going to concerts, your hobbies and leisure activities, and shopping for clothes, gadgets, or other non-essentials. Giving yourself a designated budget for these expenses ensures you can indulge without feeling guilty, while still keeping your finances in check. Next is the 20%, and that's for your savings and debt repayment. This is essential for securing your financial future and reducing your financial stress. So use this portion to build an emergency fund, save for future goals like your holiday, your home purchase, your education, paying off debt, starting with high interest loans or credit cards, and investing in a pension or other long-term financial growth options. If saving feels overwhelming, start small. Even a modest amount can add up over time, and it's far better than not saving at all. While the 50-30-20 rule is an excellent starting point, it's not a rigid framework. You know me, I don't like being rigid, and life doesn't fit neatly into boxes, and your budget shouldn't either. So for example, if you're in a high-cost city where rent takes a significant chunk of your income, your necessities category might need to go beyond 50%. If you're focused on paying down debt, you might temporarily shift more into the 20% category by cutting back on wants. The beauty of this system is flexibility. The percentages serve as a guide, but you're free to tweak them to suit your personal circumstances and goals. If the idea of creating a budget feels intimidating, don't worry, you are not alone. The best way to start is by simply tracking your spending for 1 month. Write down everything you spend, categorize it into the 50-20-30 buckets, and see where your money is going. You might discover that you're spending far more than expected on dining out or on delivery, which is what I do. Your subscription services are adding up. Do you really need 3 or 4 streaming platforms? And you're not saving as much as you thought you were. Tracking your expenses is like turning on a light in a dark room. It reveals exactly where you stand and highlights where you can make adjustments. Budgeting isn't about restriction, it's about empowerment. By understanding your financial flow and setting realistic limits, you're giving yourself the freedom to spend wisely and not feel guilty. It's also about consistency. The 50-30-20 rule works best when it's reviewed regularly. Life changes and your budget should too. So if you're new to budgeting, start small. Try the 50-30-20 approach for a month or two. Track your progress and adjust as needed. Before long, you'll have a system that works for you, helping you to feel more in control of your finances and future. Next, let's talk about automation and decluttering your finances. Now, automation is one of the most simplest and effective ways to take control of your finances. Think of it as having a virtual organizer that takes care of a repetitive task so you can focus on other priorities. Setting up direct debits or standing orders for your bills, your credit card payments, and saving goals ensures everything is paid on time without you having to lift a finger. This approach not only saves you time, but also eliminates the mental load of remembering due dates and deadlines. No more scrambling to pay the electricity bill on time or forgetting to transfer money to your savings account. It all happens seamlessly in the background. And let's be honest, who doesn't love ticking something off their to-do list without actually doing anything? I do. While automation keeps things running smoothly, financial decluttering is about reducing unnecessary expenses and simplifying your money management. It's easy to accumulate financial clutter over time, just like physical clutter in your home. So let's break it down. First, let's talk about cancelling the unused subscriptions. They can be sneaky. You sign up for a free trial or a monthly service, and before you know it, you're paying for things you don't actually use. Streaming services are a prime example. Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, Spotify, Apple Music, and others. They may seem small individually, but together they add up quickly. Take me, for instance. A couple of years ago, I realized I'd signed up for nearly every streaming platform available and was spending over 3,000 dirhams or around £700 annually on them. The kicker? I wasn't even using all of them. I sat down, reviewed what I actually watched, and narrowed it down to just a couple that I genuinely enjoy, like Apple TV. I cannot tell you how much Apple TV is the greatest streaming platform, has the best programs and films. Anyway, for the rest, I found a way of catching snippets of trending shows on TikTok or YouTube without feeling left out. Not only did this save me hundreds of pounds, but it also reduced the mental clutter of having too many options. Over time, it's easy to end up with multiple bank accounts, some of which you might not even use anymore. Maybe you opened an account during university or for a specific purpose and then forgot about it. That was me. I discovered I had an account sitting dormant, costing me annual fees for no reason. Closing it not only saved me money, but also removed one more thing for me to monitor. Consolidating your accounts into one or two that you actively use simplifies your financial life and reduces unnecessary fees or admin work. Switch now to paperless billing. So it's a win-win. It declutters your physical space and makes managing bills more efficient. No more piles of unopened envelopes cluttering your desk or your filing cabinet. Instead, you can access everything digitally, often with reminders and notifications to help you stay on top of due dates. Switching to paperless also has an added bonus. It's environmentally friendly. So while you're decluttering your financial life, you're also doing your part for the planet. I think that's a win. Combining automation with decluttering is powerful because it creates a system that works in your favor. Automating payments ensures you're never hit with late fees, while decluttering eliminates unnecessary costs like unused subscriptions and account fees. Together, these steps free up not just money, but also mental energy, giving you more control over your financial well-being. Once you've streamlined your financial commitments, you'll find it much easier to manage your budget and focus on your goals, whether that's saving for a holiday, paying off a debt, or simply enjoying the peace of mind that comes with a more organized financial life. So take the time to automate and declutter. It's an investment into the future that pays dividends in both time and money. Did you like that? That was good, wasn't it? So now let's talk about step 4, which is building an emergency fund. And an emergency fund is one of the smartest and most empowering tools for managing your finances. It's a dedicated pot of money set aside for your life's unexpected expenses. So car repairs, medical bills, sudden home fixes, or even bridging the gap if your income temporarily takes a hit. Having this financial buffer not only helps you to avoid stress in tough situations, but also prevents you from spiraling into debt by relying on credit cards or loans. Life is unpredictable and surprises often come with a price tag. Without an emergency fund, even a relatively small, unexpected expense like replacing a tire or fixing a leaking pipe can derail your budget. And let's not even think about the bigger emergencies like losing a job or facing significant medical costs. An emergency fund provides peace of mind, knowing that you have money set aside for the unexpected, reduces your anxiety and helps you feel in control. It keeps you out of debt. Instead of reaching for a credit card or taking out a loan, you can handle the expense upfront, and it supports your long-term goals. So by avoiding the debt, you stay on track with your savings and investment plans. If you're new to saving or feel overwhelmed by the idea of building an emergency fund, don't worry. You don't need to save thousands of pounds or dirhams overnight. The key is to start small and stay consistent. So first, set a realistic goal. The financial experts often recommend having 3 to 6 months worth of living expenses in your emergency fund. While that might sound daunting, don't let it deter you. Begin with a smaller, achievable goal like £500 or 2,000 dirhams. Save little and save often. So even small amounts can make a big difference over time. Saving £10, £20, 50 dirhams, 100 dirhams each week might not feel like much, but over a year, it adds up to hundreds of pounds or thousands of dirhams. To make your saving effortlessly, automate your savings, which we've talked about already, by setting up the standing order and direct debits, to transfer a fixed amount into your emergency fund every payday. This ensures you're consistently saving without having to think about it. Your emergency fund should be really accessible, but separate from your everyday spending account. This ensures you're not tempted to dip into it for non-emergencies like treating yourself to a new gadget or weekend away. So consider these options. A savings account, which is a high-interest savings account, which is ideal for growing your fund while keeping it accessible. Money market account. These often offer slightly better interest rates while still allowing quick access. Or cash reserve, which is less ideal for earning interest, but having some cash at hand can be helpful in case of immediate emergencies. I always say when you're an expat, always have some, bundle of cash with you in a safe. Always have a safe. People don't have a safe, so it drives me insane. Please get a safe, but put a bundle of cash into that safe in case of emergency, in case you have to suddenly leave the country, because you never know. An emergency fund is just that, for emergencies. It's important to resist that temptation to use it for non-urgent expenses like a holiday or a new wardrobe. Be strict with yourself, and if you do dip into it for a genuine emergency, prioritize replenishing it as soon as possible. Building an emergency fund requires patience and discipline, but the rewards far outweigh the effort. Not only will it safeguard your financial stability, but it'll also bring you an incredible sense of security and freedom. You'll sleep better at night knowing that you're prepared for life's curveball. Step 5 is to review and reflect every month. So organizing your finances is not a one-off project you can tick off and forget about. Just like decluttering your home, it's an ongoing process that requires maintenance. Life changes, your income fluctuates, expenses creep in, and goals evolve. So keeping your finances in check needs regular attention. One of the best ways to stay on top of it is by creating a monthly routine. So first, start with a monthly money date. This is your dedicated time to focus on your finances. It doesn't have to be daunting or time-consuming. In fact, it can be as short as 30 minutes. The idea is to carve out a consistent time for review, reflection, and making adjustments to your financial plan. So choose a regular date. Pick a time that works for you, like the first Sunday of each month or the day after payday. Add it to your calendar and treat it as a non-negotiable appointment. Make a pleasant experience for you while you do this. So pour yourself a cup of tea or a glass of wine, put on some calming music, and set up a space where you can focus without distractions. Also, bring the right tools. So have everything you need at hand, your bank statements, your budgeting apps, your receipts, your financial notebook. A money day is your opportunity to assess where you stand financially and identify areas to improve. Here's what to focus on. Review your budget, so check if you stayed within your planned spending categories, necessities, wants, and savings. Note any areas where you overspent or underspent. For example, did you spend more than expected on eating out, but less on groceries? Adjust your budget for the next month based on these insights, and also what you're going to do in the future. Next, track your spending. So go through your bank and credit card statements to ensure all charges are accurate. Categorize your expenses to see patterns. This can highlight the habits that might need tweaking, like impulsive buys or underestimating certain bills. Then assess your savings and goals. So check your progress on savings, like building an emergency fund or saving for a holiday. If you hit a milestone, celebrate it. It's important to acknowledge your wins. Next, plan for your upcoming expenses. So look ahead to any irregular expenses for the coming month, like birthdays, annual subscriptions, or car maintenance. Add them to your budget so that you don't get caught off guard. Then let's tidy up some loose ends. So cancel your subscriptions or memberships you don't use, pay off the small balances on credit cards if possible, and file digital or physical financial documents neatly for easy access. Your money date doesn't have to be complicated. If the idea of diving into spreadsheets or detailed reports overwhelms you, keep it as straightforward as checking on your statements and jotting down a few notes. Focus on these 2 questions. What went well this month, and what could you improve next month? Sometimes simply taking the time to look at your finances regularly is enough to feel in control and identify areas for improvement. The magic of a money day lies in making it a habit. So when you review your finances monthly, it becomes less intimidating and more manageable. You'll develop a clearer picture of your financial health and feel more confident in making adjustments as needed. By maintaining your financial organization, you'll enjoy the benefits like fewer surprises. Regular reviews mean you're less likely to be blindsided by forgotten expenses or hidden charges. You'll have better decision making because you'll be seeing your financial trends, helping you to make informed choices about spending and saving. And you'll also have peace of mind. Knowing exactly where your money is going reduces your stress and anxiety about your finances. Organizing your finances isn't just about numbers, budgets, or spreadsheets. It's deeply connected to your mindset. So the way you think and feel about money plays a massive role in how effectively you take control of it. That's why adopting the right attitude is just as important as the practical steps you take. When you start diving into your finances, it's easy to slip into a mindset of judgment. Why did I spend so much on takeaways last month? Or I'm so bad with my money. But this critical approach often leads to shame or guilt, which can be paralyzing and prevent you from making meaningful progress. Instead, replace that judgment with curiosity. Approach your financial habits with the same mindset you use for solving a puzzle. Ask yourself questions like, what patterns do I notice in my spending? Or what choices felt good and what could I tweak? View every mistake or misstep as a learning opportunity rather than a failure. This shift in perspective can help you stay motivated and focused on your solutions rather than dwelling on the problems. Being kind to yourself is crucial, especially if you're starting this journey after a period of financial disarray. Maybe you've accumulated debt, neglected savings, or let subscriptions pile up. That's okay. It's in the past, and the fact that you're here now, ready to take action, is what matters. So treat yourself with the same kindness you would to a friend who's trying to turn things around. Remind yourself, progress is more important than perfection. Small wins add up to significant changes over time. Everyone's financial journey is unique, and there's no single right way to manage money. One of the biggest traps in financial organization is the pursuit of perfection. You might feel like you need to nail every budget category, save the ideal amount, or completely eliminate those frivolous spending. But perfectionism often leads to frustration and burnout, especially when life inevitably throws those curveballs your way. Focus instead on progress, so small, steady improvements to build momentum. For example, if you're tracking your spending for the first time, don't stress about categorizing every penny. Just aim to get a general sense of where your money is going. If saving 20% of your income feels impossible right now, start with 5% and increase it gradually as your financial situation improves. Progress isn't about giant leaps, it's about consistent steps in the right direction. Your mindset towards money is often shaped by past experiences, family attitudes, societal pressures, or even cultural norms. Take a moment to reflect on your relationship with money. Do you view it as a source of stress or as a tool to create the life you want? Are there beliefs you hold onto about money that might be limiting your progress? such as I'm just not good with numbers or I'll never get out of debt. Reframing those beliefs can help you approach financial organization with a sense of empowerment rather than fear. Start by reminding yourself that money is a tool, not a measure of your worth. You have the ability to learn and grow no matter where you're starting from. And your financial situation is a work in progress, and every positive step counts. Let's talk about positive steps. Don't forget to celebrate your achievements, no matter how small they might seem. Did you cancel an unused subscription? Amazing! Managed to stick to your budget for the first time? Brilliant! Saved an extra £10 or 100 dirhams this month? That is amazing progress. Acknowledging these victories keeps you motivated and reinforces the idea that you're capable of managing your finances. So I want to do a quick recap. To get started on organizing your finances this month, assess your current situation, create a simple, realistic budget, automate your payments and declutter your financial commitments, start building an emergency fund, and schedule a monthly check-in to review your finances. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your finances, remember that small, consistent changes can make a huge difference. Just like organizing a messy drawer or tackling a cluttered cupboard, the key is to take it one step at a time. I'd love to hear how you get on with these tips. Are there areas of financial organization you're struggling with? Let me know, and I can dive deeper into those topics in future episodes. Thanks for listening to the Get Organised with Declutter Me podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with someone who might find it helpful. Many thanks for listening as always. I'll talk to you next week. Bye.